Hi you guys, I hope you're doing well. Welcome back to another video. So this is gonna be a vlog today. I've actually already filmed it, but I wanted to put this little blurb in the beginning of the video just because I want more people to see it. So if I put it at the end of the video, I know not quite as many people will see it. I just wanted to have a little chat at the beginning of this vlog, like just being super open and honest about some things that I'm feeling. I feel like it's literally hard for me to even say. Just the OG YouTuber in me is like in pain right now, but it's really not that big of a deal. I am gonna be taking a few weeks or potentially a little bit longer. I'm gonna be taking some time off of posting on just YouTube. Honestly, that's not really a thing that I typically do. Every year after Vlogmas, I take off about like 2.5, maybe 3 weeks from posting just to enjoy like the holidays and the new year, recoup, and then I always come back. And typically I post every week. You guys know I don't post on a certain day for the past multiple years now. I'm not sure how long it's been. I've pretty much posted weekly. I do about 4 videos a month. Occasionally I do like an extra video or 2 in there, but it's like 1 video a week for years and years and years now. In the spirit of transparency and honesty, I think with myself, I think I've been kind of I've been in denial of the fact that I've been a little burnt out for quite some time now with the content and the vlogs I've been making on YouTube. And I know I've kind of shared like little bits and pieces of that like throughout the past few years or whatever. Just, it's a whole thing. Like we've talked about it before. YouTube has changed so much over the years. And I don't kind of want to talk too much about like the business, side of things today. This is more just about how I'm just feeling right now. And I hope and I think, because I know you guys, I know the people that watch my videos, I feel so deeply connected with so many of you guys. I know so many of you guys have watched for like 10 plus years or like so long now and like are those OGs with me, you know what I mean? Like the OG viewers. And that's what it feels so special about YouTube. And I'm not saying anything crazy. Like I'm not saying anything about like letting YouTube go or anything. So I don't want anyone to like think anything crazy. This is just a good thing. I personally need to take a bit of time. Maybe it'll be 3 weeks. Maybe it'll be a month and a half. It literally could be in like 3 weeks and maybe I'll come back and be like, hey, like I'm good now. You know what I mean? Like I'm back. So I'm not gonna put a time limit on it, but I will say like I would be shocked if I was gone for longer than like a month and a half. I'm thinking about like a month time period. And I will be posting still on my other platforms. I'm gonna be posting on my Instagram story. I'm gonna be doing a lot of short form content, which is kind of like part of the reason I've just felt like a little bit more excited, a little bit more joyful about creating short form content over the past few months. Not to say that there is not this like deep love and deep like connection that I will always have to YouTube, because there always will be. There will always be a place for me to like want to come here and sit down like I'm doing right now in front of my camera and just feel like I'm catching up with you guys on FaceTime. Like there will always be that part of me. I don't think I have those feelings of being able to do that so comfortably and so naturally on other social platforms at this time. I just don't. And I love those like nostalgic, sit down, casual YouTube vibes. Like I love it so much. But I feel like this is a good thing that I'm finally acknowledging these feelings and I'm finally going to take some time to figure out how I want to be creating, not only on YouTube, how often I realistically can be posting everywhere, not just on YouTube. And this could change down the line, but when I come back, I'm probably gonna have a bit of a different posting schedule on YouTube is what I'm thinking. I just know people have this idea that content creators don't work. And I hope that that is not my audience on YouTube, but I just know so many people are like, it's not a real job. It's not a real job. I have 2 jobs that I do. One of them is, yes, believe it or not, I get paid from being a content creator. And if you get paid from something and you do it, I think that's a job. So I know like 90% of you guys know that now, but there's always, I think it's also a thing with like being this like OG YouTuber and going back so far. Some people just still have that weird stigma of like just saying that content creating is not a real job, okay? But the time that it takes to edit, like when you are doing your own content and you're posting like on multiple platforms, the time that it takes, people would not expect the time it takes just like editing alone, let alone managing your emails, doing invoices, thinking of footage, filming the footage, posting captions, and then posting on multiple platforms so you can try to stay relevant and try to make enough money to call this your job, which is such a gift and such a privilege. And then I also have another job. I am taking on a little bit more at my part-time job, and that's kind of been like the theme of the past maybe year or so, is I'm getting more involved. I'm discovering just more about my passion for organizing and more about even just working outside of for myself, and really like feeling those feelings and feeling the hard days and the long days, but also the rewarding days, and having relationships with my coworkers and my boss and the clients, and experiencing people's joy and gratitude for, you know, making their life a little easier, or experiencing like challenges that come with the job, like thinking, oh my gosh, how are we gonna do this in one day? But yes, I do have another job as well that I've been putting more of my time into recently, like behind the scenes, like off camera. And I've been kind of trying to figure out more of my work-life balance and what is giving me the most joy to create in the amount of hours in a week that I can dedicate to content creation, editing, and posting. Because in addition to that, I do work my other job, and that takes up some time in the week as well. And I don't really like working on the weekends, so I try to keep most of my work time to Monday through Friday. I find that a lot of times I am editing, I am filming on the weekends, so it's still technically like work, but it's more of like chill stuff. I feel like when I come back in like a month or so, I will have my thoughts a lot more together, and I will be able to share a little bit more of like, this is realistically how often you can expect videos on here. I think another thing that maybe might be hard to understand if you're not a OG YouTuber, okay, because this is kind of a unique experience to have been on this platform and like grown up on this platform as a creator for 15 plus years, like over half of my life. It's not an experience that a lot of people can relate to, and it's so like magical and special. But it also is one of those things that I feel like my OG YouTube brain cannot accept the fact that other forms of content, like short form content, have fully taken over, and a part of my brain just does not want to like accept that long form is not necessarily, this is again me putting on my business hat, so just stay with me for a moment. Long form content like YouTube is not necessarily the way to have longevity in this career path. And it is for some people. Some people are so good at YouTube. Some people are so good at editing and storytelling and making their videos like just where they thrive on YouTube. I have personally never felt that way. I've never been passionate about editing. I edit all my videos. I've never had someone edit my videos, which maybe is a thing that I should consider moving forward, because it would allow me a lot more time. As someone who has done this for 15 years, it is like impossible for me to accept that short form content, like again, has just fully taken over, and that is where I need my primary focus to be. At the end of the day, there's two things that I think are extremely important if you're gonna call this your career. If you are pursuing this as your career, one of the biggest things, of course, is finding joy in what you're creating, finding joy in just the topics that you're discussing, even just the video making process, the content creation process, and then like having that relationship with your audience. That is obviously a huge part of it. You want to be like happy with what you're making. You want to feel connected with what you're making. But another part of it that people maybe don't want to talk about sometimes is you have to be at the place where the content is resonating. You have to think about the views. You have to think about the engagement that you're getting. You have to kind of compare those things from one platform to the other. And for a little bit now, YouTube just hasn't really felt like the place to be focusing the most of my time and energy with the limited time that I do have in a week for content creation. And I'm giving so much time to YouTube by doing like an hour-long vlog. I know people are gonna probably be like, wow, that's an hour of your time. No, an hour of footage is probably, you know, 2 to 4 hours of rough footage that I have taken over probably almost a week. And then the editing time for an hour-long vlog is for me personally, is probably about 8 hours. And then you have more time when you're exporting, making the thumbnail, everything. So that adds on another like maybe hour or so. And I've just done it for so long. It's so ingrained in me that this is what I do every week. And I just have a vlog, I have a vlog, I have a vlog. And I'm just honestly at this place where I'm doing it and I'm not even like, and it's been a while now that I've kind of felt that way of like, not that I'm not enjoying it and getting something out of it, because I wouldn't be posting if I wasn't enjoying it. Like I love vlogging so much and I love like sitting and talking to my camera, and I think you guys really do know that. But it's just, I think like the repetitiveness with like the every single week, it's almost just feeling like, you know, I'm putting up a video because I have to put up a video that week, and I'm not putting up a video that week because I want to put up a video that week. Does that make sense? I think that's like the best way I could explain it, and I hope that doesn't come off the wrong way. Maybe you can relate that to something that you do in your work life, right? That maybe like parts of it you enjoy more than others, parts of getting something done at work, you are gonna do it because you're like, this is just what I do. I have to do it, and I enjoy parts of it, but you're like the joy and the passion sometimes isn't there as much as maybe it has been. Again, I don't feel like my thoughts are 100% together right now, so I will just ask for you guys' patience while I just work through, you know, over the next month or so, these thoughts and these feelings, and I come to a place, because this is what I want. I don't want this to sound like sad or complaining or boo-hoo, which I know it probably just will to some people, because people are always just going to be like, you're complaining about doing this, you're complaining about doing this. I'm being honest about trying to figure out what is going to work for me and what is going to bring me joy in this season of life. And I think it's just important to have those moments with yourself where you can be honest and open about how you're feeling, and not like push this stuff under the rug all the time. Like I have to at some point acknowledge that platforms have changed. It's not the same as it was 5 years ago, and it is sure as heck not the same as it was 10 or 15 years ago when I started with what worked for me on YouTube. That was the only platform that people were like posting on when I started. And, you know, so evolving with the times and evolving, and I am the type of person that I think I am pretty resistant to change, and that's why it's taken me so long. Like obviously probably a lot of people that are on short form, that are on TikTok, they know that took off in like 2020. I didn't even begin like taking, you know, TikTok and anything seriously until probably like last year. You know, I'm like late to the game in a lot of ways because I've been so trained by whatever it is, my own mind being this like OG YouTube long form content creator, that I've been so resistant that just honestly it has been detrimental to parts of my career, and having this be something that I do that is sustainable more long term. But things have been changing for a while, and I have to figure out how to kind of pivot and be where, you know, the engagement is, making the content that people are clicking on. If you compare a lot of my views on my TikTok and Reels to YouTube, it's like there is a vast difference. YouTube is just like become the smallest views platform, and I really haven't wanted to like believed that for a while, and it doesn't mean it's like so depressing and so sad. It's just that like people have kind of been pivoting away from watching as much YouTube because there's other platforms, okay? And it's like easier to just like scroll on your phone and watch a TikTok than it is to like pull up an hour-long YouTube vlog. So I'm not in this place where I'm like sad about that and like, oh, like come watch my videos, I promise they're good. It's not like a boo-hoo moment. It's more of just like, again, like I need to figure out the best way in my work weeks to schedule all of my time. And that's between my organizing job and, you know, everything that comes with doing this job, because I absolutely want to continue doing both of these paths. I find so much joy too in like the separation and how different both of my jobs are. And just even having the ability to be able to do both is such, again, like a privilege and a blessing. So just finding how I can feel the most fulfilled, the most joy in what I am doing and creating. So if anyone's still listening, because this has been a long chat before the vlog even started, I am asking for just y'all's patience for a little bit while I figure that out. I will absolutely be back on YouTube. And like I said, my frequency of uploading will probably be changing a little bit throughout the next few months. I don't know what it's gonna look like yet. We'll talk about that more, I think, in the next video I make. I will have more of an idea of that. So I just wanna say thank you guys for listening. Thank you for being here. Seriously, like to any person that has ever commented on one of my videos or liked or watched, like truly thank you from the bottom of my heart. I feel so deeply connected to this platform and always will. That will never, ever, ever change. It's just one of those periods where you're like, I need to check in with myself and make sure I'm still like creating joy for myself, because then if I'm joyful and I'm happy with what I'm creating, you guys will feel that. And I think probably some people have been able to not feel that for a little while because it has become, like I said, a little bit repetitive. All right, I did in fact make a vlog for you this week though, so I do hope that you still watch and enjoy, but if not, I totally understand if you just kind of saw the title and were like, oh, I'm here for a little update, I'm here for a little tea. Just thank you guys for listening, and I will put all of my other socials on the screen right now if you're like only a YouTube watcher, which I totally understand if you're not anywhere else, but if you happen to be on Instagram or TikTok, I will be on those platforms while I am not here, so I'll see you over there. Okay, and let's get into the rest of the vlog. Hi you guys, I hope you're doing well. Welcome back to another vlog. This vlog is, I think, just gonna be like a few days in my life, some days at home. We're gonna do some organizing together, show you guys some more just kind of things that I've been doing at the house, because that is how I've been spending most of my free time recently. Let's go ahead and get into the vlog. We're gonna take it back to Monday, which was yesterday. So this little window seat area is our next home project. Cholula has actually been climbing up here a lot when we leave the house, so we put a little blanket there for now, but we figured we might as well put a cushion here and make it a little window seat. So Jared's mom actually inspired us to DIY it. So we're gonna get some fabric, and she gave us some tips on how to do it. Basically measure the length for the cushion with a board, and then you put foam on top of the length of that board once you get the measurements right for the cushioning, and then the fabric goes on top of the foam. I'm going to insert a little inspo photo that this girl Rosie I follow posted, but this is actually her nursery, so it's a different color scheme than we'll end up going with, but just so you can see the window seat inspiration, I'm thinking with the curtains and then adding some throw pillows. So we already took the blinds off this window, which is why it looks so plain, but I want to have some level of being able to close the curtains if we want to. So I think I want to do a tension rod, then some curtains that will hit right around the top of the cushion, and then we'll have our little DIY cushion, add some throw pillows. So we are off to go look for some fabric. All right, we're trying Michael's, see what the fabric selection is like. Well, we are here, but there's really not a great selection in terms of like just pretty patterns. There's a lot of like kids, you know, kids kind of prints, And then we have some like holiday. There's a few in here that are more, you know, more normal, but it's definitely not any of the color schemes I'm thinking. There is some that are like missing. It tells you all the ones that they have. So I've been looking at those to see if there's anything that I like, but I'm not really finding anything. We might have to go to another store. Next up, we're trying Craft Warehouse. I've actually never been here, but I think they're gonna have a better selection, hopefully, than Michael's. Look how cute. They have all these like lit up aisles in here. Now, where is the fabric? So we had a successful journey. We found, I think we have everything we need to make the bench. It kind of looks like just beige stripes, but it has a little hint of green, which I think will be really pretty with my color scheme. Not sure what I'm gonna do for the curtains, but probably just like simple, like a solid color I'm thinking, since the cushion is gonna be striped. We found some like foam padding, and then we just need like the piece of wood. We might start working on that tomorrow. I'm not sure yet, but we got all our materials. I am very excited to see it come together. It was a successful outing. I also went to Marshall's and I got one little thing. We were looking for some potential wall art, but they really had a bad selection. So I only got one little tiny thing that I think I'm gonna put in the office, a little print. So here's the fabric we ended up going with. It's very yellowy lighting in here, but it's like a cream with a gray, they called it grayish, which is like a green beige stripe all over it. It's a little bit more light and simple than I thought I was gonna go with, but like I said, I wanna kind of play with the color and patterns a little more, I think, with the throw pillows and the curtains rather than the cushion. I think it's just always kind of like a safe bet to do a more neutral, and then you can always like add to it with, like I said, little things like pillows. And this was the art I found at Marshall's. It's a little spritz. I thought it was a little basic, but I did think it was kind of fun for maybe somewhere unexpected in the house, like the office. Like I said, it was already like matted and framed and everything, and it was only $14.99. So that was the only thing I grabbed at Marshall's. So last night we did a Blackstone hibachi party. It was just us that were in attendance at the party, but we have a lot of leftovers, like a lot. It was so good though. I'm really excited to have our leftovers. Teriyaki chicken, some roasted like bell peppers, zucchini, onions. That goes all together. And then of course a homemade fried rice with peas, carrots, and scrambled eggs in there. So it was absolutely divine. I cannot wait to eat it again, and I love having an easy dinner leftovers night. Yummy. I reheated, and then I got this. I love yum yum sauce when I go to hibachi, so I bought some to finally have some for ourselves. And I like to do toasted sesame seeds, and I did a little bit of everyday seasoning. I always like to put that on our leftovers, but. Hello you guys, it's the next day. I have been up for a bit now, but I'm gonna make a coffee and do some stuff that I've been meaning to do around the house with you guys, and I'm excited. I'm feeling particularly motivated today to get some more stuff done around the house. So let's make an iced coffee together. I'm gonna make a chocolate cold foam that I've made a couple times recently, and I love it. It's very easy. I just use half and half, and then I use this dark chocolate Tirani syrup that I have, just a little bit. I've made this with like cocoa powder in the past, and maybe a little bit of sweetener in it, because cocoa powder is like pretty bitter on its own. But I'll just mix like creamer, half and half, heavy cream, whatever. I've been doing half and half recently, and you really only need a little bit, maybe a tablespoon or two. You don't need a lot because it really, well, if you have a frother, it really froths up. And then I don't do a lot of this either. I just kind of eyeball it, maybe like that much. And since it's dark chocolate, it really has like some nice flavor that gets in there. This is my Keurig milk frother. I've had a few months. I love it so much because it's like technically a stand milk frother, but you don't have to hold it. So you just put the little thing, like it's all kind of one part, if that makes sense. And then you can just set it to latte, cappuccino, or manual. I find I'm usually just making a cold foam. I haven't really been like, what's the word? Frothing up, obviously froth is the word. I haven't really been frothing up my milk recently. I've just been kind of doing a cold foam occasionally, so I'll just always put it on manual. I'm having issues speaking today, as you can clearly tell. And then it just does its thing. You can leave it sitting on the counter and it'll just turn itself off after it's done. And I really, really love this thing. We're gonna let her do her thing. I brewed a single espresso shot and I have a smaller cup today. I know it's like a kind of like a wine drink glass, but I've been loving having my coffees and just any fun drinks out of here. So have some ice in here. A little bit of milk. I always put milk before the espresso when I'm doing an iced drink so it doesn't instantly melt the ice. Add my espresso shot, stir it up. I'm gonna add a little bit more milk. And that went for about, I think it was like at least 60 or 90 seconds, and it is the most fluffy, beautiful chocolate cold foam. It's so beautiful. I could have even done a little bit more chocolate, honestly, but it's giving like 3 different layers today, which is just gorgeous. And then just to be a little extra for the vlog today, I don't usually do this, but I'm gonna do a little to give it that, like, if I hold it lower, that coffee shop vibe. Yum. I was just like, some days I'm just craving like chocolate with my coffee. So it was one of those days. If I try it on its own, I'm just gonna get cold foam. So I'm gonna kind of stir it around together a little bit. It's pretty delish. If you like a chocolate cold foam, try it out. Like I said, you don't have to have a chocolate sauce. You can definitely do it with just cocoa powder, maybe like a teaspoon or tablespoon of sugar or simple syrup. I'm gonna light ourselves a candle today, set the vibes. There we go. So this has taken me long enough. I think I've unintentionally been procrastinating doing this, which I don't even know why, because y'all know I love organizing, but I think I've just felt a little overwhelmed by all of the spaces in the house and not being like fully unpacked yet. But I officially have all of the kitchen drawers removed, those contact papers, which is really the only thing I was waiting for to be able to organize my drawers and organize the rest of my kitchen. So today I'm going to do drawer dividers in the kitchen. These are like the bamboo colored ones, the wood colored ones, which I've had for like 3 years now, since 2 houses ago. I will link these down below. And I only have, like I said, I think I only have 4 in this color. But our last kitchen, like the interior of the drawers was white. So I have a bunch of white ones. I have actually like 8 white ones and some that I didn't even apparently end up using at the last house. Like these ones are all just ones that I've held on to. So I am gonna use the white. I was kind of thinking about just getting all matching bamboo ones, but I think the white will look fine, and I don't actually know. There's actually no other areas of the house for me to use these ones because they're like the long ones that really only go in like bigger drawers like kitchen and stuff. So I'm just going to use what I have. I don't think I need any more, so we're gonna just use what we have, and I'm just gonna go and sort through all my drawers today. I'm not gonna get into any of the cabinets today because, to tell y'all the complete honest truth, I am still working on the contact paper in some of the shelves. So today we're just focusing on the drawers, basically. I'll get you up in here. I'll probably just make this like a fast forwarded thing because I know maybe everybody isn't super enthralled by this stuff like I am, but we're gonna create some division, some organization, do some gorge before and afters of these drawers, and I've really been meaning to do this, so we're gonna play some music and attack these drawers today. Okay, so I thought it could be more fun to kind of talk through this rather than just play music while I'm doing this. So hopefully you guys enjoy that. I'm starting with my utility drawer or my junk drawer, but this is basically the catch-all for, you know, all of these random things: lip balm, hair ties, candle lighter, some, you know, cords and like chargers in here. Having one in my kitchen is just absolutely essential. It's definitely like my most used drawer, and I just couldn't function without it. So that was that one. I guess I didn't even really talk through it, but let me try to talk through these a little bit more. This one was kind of a mix of like food storage stuff, but then it was also like half empty. So I'm actually gonna switch where my like food wraps go because I don't think it needs this big of a drawer. And I'm bringing over my extra dish towels, which usually we have more than this. They're in the laundry right now, but like my extra dish towels and cleaning towels. So I'm gonna do these in a bigger drawer than they were in before. Before it was in a really small drawer and I just didn't like the look. I'm adding some drawer dividers, as you can tell, and these are my reusable paper towels that I love. And then these are our napkins that I also just wash, and we reuse those, you know, we use these like every day. So my iPad is on the other side and like a little notepad. And Mr. Cholula was coming through to say hello. This is the silverware drawer, and it didn't really change. I've had this silverware thing for like probably 10 years now, you guys, and it's just always worked. I love it. It matches with the inside of my drawers. I'm vacuuming out all the drawers, but they've already been cleaned and wiped from before, after we removed the contact paper. So that one was pretty simple. Now we're getting into some of the more deep drawers. This one is like just it's the most stuffed because it's my food storage, and we've already gone through and like edited this down a lot before we moved, and we really don't have that much. It probably needs a bigger space than this, but I just don't want to take up 2 drawers or like really a cabinet with this. So this is just what it comes down to. But yeah, this is our, you know, food storage that we use a lot. And I have some like reusable bags. I have some little containers, some lids for mason jars, and you know, this is just how it turned out. It is what it is. And this bottom drawer, my camera did actually die, so you don't see everything that I ended up putting in here, but I actually just keep like my bigger baking liquid measuring cups. And then, yes, this is where my battery died, but just some of our bigger like prep bowls. All right, let's get over to the drawers by the oven. This is my like primary kind of space for the most used utensils. So I am putting in some drawer dividers, of course, to give me some of that division, because I didn't really want to use a lot of like drawer bins. You'll kind of tell, as many as I used to use in my old kitchen. So I'm really just trying to use the dividers and keep it kind of simple. So, you know, wooden spoons and spatulas, things that we grab for like every day. Now this particular drawer is really, really shallow. It's only like 1.5 inches tall. So I think it's basically made for things like what I'm going to put in it, which is the oven mitts and the little like pot things, because it really cannot hold any sort of a utensil or anything that's like tall. So I think this one turned out really good. It's next to the oven. Now this one is like all over the place. As you can tell, it really needed some division and it needed some help. So I am going to insert a little product that creates a bit of division and a drawer divider. So, 2 drawer dividers. And we're going to do a little baking section with my, cookie scoops and my measuring cups and things. And then the rest of the stuff I just kind of tried to fit as it did. So I do like a little drink and bar section here with some of my little funnels and, what are those called? Squeezers and things like that. And then this is like smaller kitchen, I don't know if I'd say utensils, but just little like tools that you use, if that makes sense, can opener, things like that. So this one did end up shifting a lot, and this one is gonna have some space to grow. This, I would say, basically is like pretty rarely used kitchen things, but it makes sense for me to keep it in a drawer as opposed to somewhere else. ladle, potato masher, things that we're really just not reaching for as often, and it does still have some room to grow, which is great. And this bottom one is a bit random, but it's kind of like baking dishes and, you know, little things like that. My really long rolling pin that doesn't fit anywhere else, and I am creating some nice division with the drawer dividers. These are just so awesome. This is where I got a little random, but like I have a bunch of ice cube things and I never really know where to put them. So I think in the drawer it worked out. A little drink section and a little baking section. And lastly, this is the small drawer I was talking about before, where I had the dish towels before, but it was just too crowded. So I ended up moving just my food storage, because I do not have a lot of it, as you can tell, into there. All right, kitchen drawers are all done, which I'm very excited about. I did have a few random little things that just didn't really end up fitting, mostly in my Tupperware drawer. So I think I'm gonna have to donate a few little things, which is fine. I kept, you know, 99% of everything, but I just don't wanna have super cluttered drawers, and I had room for everything other than the Tupperware drawer was a struggle. And you would think that the kitchen would be like perfectly clean now that I'm done with that, but it is not. We have a bunch of crap out everywhere, so I'm gonna do like a power kitchen tidy. Now the kitchen is all clean, at least from here over. I need to still clear off the dining table, but I wanted to show you guys the rug pad came in, so I was able to put down my kitchen runner that I briefly showed you in the last vlog, and I did that about almost a week ago, and I have been loving it so much. I love the color scheme in here and just how it turned out. It's like neutrally, but it's got a little bit of green and pink. I feel like this color of like very light, kind of sagey green, maybe it's a little more lighter than that, but it has been just one of my favorite colors to play with lately with home decor, because it's still neutrally, but it feels just very fresh and clean, and I don't know, I just love this. This is the rug pad I got. It was marked as the same exact size as the runner, but I did have to trim it just a little bit on one end. I love how it turned out so much, so I will link this down below. Of course, they have zillions of prints to choose from. I feel like this print would look really pretty in a bathroom or something too, and of course all of them are washable. This is definitely on the lighter side of the ruggables I've ever had, and since it's in the kitchen and gets so much traction, we will definitely have to be washing this often and keeping it bright and everything. So I am very happy that I will easily be able to do that. So the excitingness of new house things continues. At least this is exciting for me. I upgraded my Dyson vacuum for the first time in, I believe it's been 5.5 years since I got my first and only Dyson like cordless vacuum that I've had. I believe I have like either the V7 or V8. Bought it back in 2020, and it has been so good to me. I know a lot of people have their different opinions about like Dyson, if it's worth it or not, because they're pricey. I personally haven't tried the Shark ones, but I've heard that they're also very good, and I think they're a little more affordable, if I'm not mistaken. Everything Dyson is just super pricey, honestly, but the vacuum has been on, I feel like it's been on its way out for a while now. I just got the V12. I decided to upgrade after so long, and I'm really excited. I know it's just a vacuum. It's probably not the most exciting to see, but I'm gonna open it. This is one of the ones that has the light, so you can see the dust on the floor, which I did not have in mine. I will say that mine, like I said, has been really good to me. Like, I haven't really had many issues with it. I can't remember how easy or hard it is to set up. There's 2 boxes, but I'm just gonna open this and hopefully it'll be pretty easy to set up and we can test it out. So just new house things. upgrading the vacuum. It is really just a Virgo thing to be excited about. Okay, I got it put together. That was so easy, and I was like, oh, I'll probably have to charge it. No, she's already alive. Hello, y'all. I am having a bit of an early dinner tonight. I had a brief intermission with my trying out the new vacuum and everything. I did do the carpets, and it was amazing. I can't remember if I was telling you guys that it came with this rug and carpet attachment, which our old one did not have, and it was just very, very exciting to discover that. But I had a brief intermission because Jared actually took me to the car repair. Let me get my food out. By the way, I'm eating the same leftovers because we had so much. I think we made a little bit too much, but it is really good, and it's always nice to not have to cook, especially if you enjoy the leftovers. Sometimes I enjoy our leftovers more than others, and sometimes I feel like it's more of a chore to eat it, but this was so good that we were both excited about having a lot of leftovers. So more hibachi and fried rice tonight. But anyway, Jared actually took me to pick up my car because a couple weeks ago, I actually scratched the side of my car, and I was so upset at myself. It was one of those things that it was like, I could have avoided it so easily. I was just like, not thinking, and instantly, as soon as it happened, I was like, oh my gosh, like, I cannot believe I did that. I scratched my car pretty bad. I don't know if I have a photo of it, but it was like at least a foot long of a scratch in one of my back doors. Luckily, that was all that happened. So that might have been actually like 3 weeks or a month ago. So I was getting a couple quotes from a couple different places, and Jared ended up finding me a place that did it for a pretty affordable price. And I was just like, it's just one of those things. I have to just like bite the bullet. I mean, obviously I didn't have to get it fixed right, but it was one of those things that it was like, it was a very large scratch, and I knew, you know, that I wanted to get it fixed. I was gonna get it fixed eventually. I just was like, okay, bite the bullet and do it. Like blackout spending that money. It's just like, we're done. Like, don't even think about it. It had to happen. Luckily, I have been very good about my emergency fund for the past while, because I feel like last year I know that last year I also had a situation where I had like some car stuff come up unexpectedly, and it was actually in the summer last year too. Last year I had to get my windshield repaired twice, which luckily that was actually very affordable, but I've had all these weird stuff that has happened to my car in the past like year or two. So it's just needed a little bit of maintenance. Like, it's not like it's anything breaking down wise. It was more just stuff that, like, unfortunately I had to get my windshield repaired twice, and then last year I had my alternator go out, and then this year I had a dumb moment and scratched my car, and it was completely my own fault. So anyway, I got that fixed. The shop fixed it for me for, I think it was a pretty fair price, and they did it in a day and a half. Like, actually it was like 24 hours, and it looks, you cannot even tell there was a scratch there at all. It looks brand spanking new. I mean, at least in that general area, not the entire car. That was a long thing to say that Jared went and dropped me off there, and it was trafficy, so we were gone for like an hour. And now I'm home and I'm hungry, and I'm gonna have some hibachi leftovers. Gonna watch Love Island tonight. It's super, super hot out. It's getting to that time of year where people don't believe this about Boise, because everybody always, like, when I tell them I live in Boise that hasn't lived here, is always like, oh my gosh, it must be so cold. Like, how do you survive? Meanwhile, in every single summer here since probably around 2020, we have like a literal 2-month period, maybe a month and a half. It's over a month where it's 100 degrees plus every day, like somewhere from 100 to 110 pretty much every day. Maybe some days it'll be like 95 to 99. And then we get the wildfire smoke usually sometime in July. Hasn't happened yet, but it's really, really ugly here and so, so hot. from like July through August. So if you ever come to Boise, I mean, not saying don't come in July and August, but it's pretty much the worst time of year that you could come. But of course, you know, we get through it every year. We're getting to that time of year. I think it was 103 today, so it was just so hot. So luckily, Jared and I finished clearing out the garage this past weekend. I don't think I was vlogging this weekend, but now we're both able to fit our cars in the garage, and our garage is actually so spacious compared to our last garage. I know I've like mentioned that, but I finally officially pulled in my car today, like 20 minutes ago for the first time, and there's so much room. Like, it's much deeper than our last garage. It's around the same, like, what's the word, like lengthwise, but the depth of the garage is much better. So I'm very excited about that because now I don't have to leave my car out in the 103 degrees for the next 2 months. So that was an exciting update of my day. Oh, also I'm having a strawberry vanilla olipop. I've had this in the fridge for like a month and I haven't had it, so it's gonna be a delicious dinner. I just ate some dinner and had a nice relaxing little time on the couch, edited a little bit of casual content on my phone, and Jared told me he's wanting to work on the bench cushion tonight, so I'm gonna go out to the garage, see if I can be of any assistance. I think he told me he kind of knows what he's doing, but let's peek out there and see how it comes together. Okay, y'all, bear with me because I just woke up a little bit ago and I'm finishing editing, so I probably sound a bit tired, but we basically got these 4 like foam squares that are a few inches thick. I feel like it's like 3 or 4 inches tall, and we ended up only having to cut one of them. And then Jared basically had cut a board that's on the bottom of this that you'll see in a minute, and you basically like line up the foam with the board, and then this part I think was called batting, if I'm not mistaken. That could be wrong, but Jared is taking the batting, which kind of just like seals everything together so the foam isn't separated as much. There's the board, by the way. He's going to use like a staple gun and just staple this all together. The board is still going to be exposed a little bit at the bottom, but that is okay because it's just going to be like the under part of the cushion, and then we are going to, of course, put the fabric on after this. Also, our total cost for everything ended up being just under $70, which I feel like it does sound like maybe a little bit expensive, but this bench seat is really big. It's like 5 feet long, and of course we got to like pick completely our own fabric and everything, so I don't exactly know what the cost would have been if we had like custom ordered something for Etsy, but I think we probably saved a decent amount of money just considering how wide it is. So now we're taking the fabric, we had to trim it just a little bit, and then Jared's getting the staple gun back out and he's kind of just attaching everything together. We're folding over the sides so that it's kind of more like even in the front, and then we're gonna bring it over to the window, and luckily it fit, and I think that it just looks awesome. And here you can kind of tell how big it actually is. The cushion is in here. Now all we need is some pretty curtains, maybe a little throw blanket, some pillows in the corner. I mean, can you picture it? It is going to be incredible. Should we see if Cholula likes it? Lulu, look at this. We made this for you. Yay! Yeah! Oh, good boy.
Nice windows.
You love it. You can look out the window.
Oh,
He's excited right now because we're gonna go on a walk. But that was awesome. The whole thing happened in like a couple hours, I swear, an hour and a half. It was very swift. I didn't even know this was gonna be happening today, but may I just say, it's a total vibe. Kind of matches my pants too. That was unexpected. I've kind of got the same whole color palette going on here, but hey, this is just a little sneaky peek to get the party going. Something, these are go on the couch, so it'll probably be something a little smaller. We got one here. We got one here. Oh my gosh, some curtains. I mean, that is incredible. That is so cute. I wouldn't have even thought that we could really even like fit pillows looking at it before, but now with the cushion, it's like, why not? That is going to be the end of this vlog. Thank you so much for watching. I know the vlog was a little bit all over the place today in terms of the chat at the beginning to just the vlog. So just thank you guys if you did make it until this point in the vlog. I always love hearing from you guys in the comments if you feel like leaving a comment. Like I said, I'm gonna be taking a few weeks off of posting on here, so you won't see me here for a little bit, but of course I will be posting on my other platforms. I will also be posting on my Patreon if you feel so inclined to go over and check out the Patreon. It's always the first link down in the description box below. And just thank you guys for being here, listening, making it until the end of the vlog. I know that's a difficult thing to do with the Lindsey Hughes vlog because they are always very long, so I applaud anyone that can ever make it until the end. I hope you guys are doing well and enjoying summer, and I will see you when I see you when I'm back. Okay, bye guys.